Hey everybody, welcome back to the chat. Today we are talking about mental health. It's actually a personal, important topic for me because it's something that I've had to deal with. And June is
Men's Mental Health Awareness.
Men's Mental Health Awareness. So we want to be not only opening up a dialogue, but also discussing some of the things that have impacted us in general, mental health wise. I mean, it's men's mental health, but realistically, I want every month should be mental health month. There should just be an awareness for men and women, because I don't believe that anybody committing suicide, regardless of the gender, should be something that it's like a competition. You know, and it's there's like in 2023, and I just looked up these statistics because I wanted to be familiarized with it, but it was 80% of men versus women committed suicide, but still 20% of women,
they're still a part of that number.
Yeah, they're still a part of that number. So it's something really serious. And it's something that I wanted to also not only just like talk about stats. I don't really want to talk about stats. I don't really want to talk about all of the things that everybody already knows. I want to talk about how I have, and in some cases you, or things that you've gone through, how we've found ways to improve our mental health in multiple different facets of our lives.
Yeah.
But to be able to give everybody like kind of like tactics to, if you are going through something, if you are having struggles in your life, ways that you can navigate through those to kind of figure it out, right? To kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel. And there is going to be times where it doesn't feel like there is a light, you know, and sometimes it's going to feel like every single time you look for that light, it's always out of reach, or something keeps happening, or you know, you name it. It's like when you're in those spirals, it can constantly feel like there's no way out, and anything that you try doesn't work, and then the more bad things keep piling up, and it just keeps going down this hole, you know, of emptiness and shittiness. So
we're going to spiral.
Yeah. And I want to not only make this chat maybe possibly a little bit longer than our normal chats. Our normal chats, you know, I know they're sometimes kind of long, but this one I really want to give a lot of information on as much as possible, because like I mentioned, it's something that has affected me specifically for, in one way or another, the majority of my life. And then there's, I know a lot of people, I've lost friends to suicide. I have experienced individuals in my life who went through it and came out the other side, you know, better. Mm-hmm. And then myself, I've experienced the low lows, the thoughts of suicide, the, you know, all of that stuff. So it's something that we want to chat on, and it's still June. So giving tactics to kind of help people. And in future videos, I am going to make specific videos on elements of this, supplements that I take, practices that I've done, and things that I've done, and as well as provide everybody lists, tangible lists, right? So you can actually pick this stuff up for yourself. Yeah. It's not lost in like, you know, a 30-minute video where you have to find, you know, where the time, the timestamp of like, what herb was he talking about? What supplement? What thing was he talking about? And like, and it's like, I want to give a detailed list where you can just download it and be like, hey, this is what I have used for this. This is what I have used for this. This is what I have used. These are the practices that I've used. This is what's made a significant difference. Yeah. So going back just a little bit of a history on me, I've had anxiety my whole life. Granted, when I was young, I didn't know what it was. There were times where I would come home from school and just be, it felt like I was just nervous for no reason. You know, it's like, there was like, I would think about it. And I'm like, well, what am I nervous about? Like, what's going on? What is bothering me? And a lot of times I could pinpoint it to something, and a lot of it had to do with a lack of preparation in something. Maybe I had a fight coming up, or maybe I had a tournament in wrestling, or maybe I had a test coming up, or something, you know, because I was in school. And I just didn't feel prepared. So like I had nervousness. And I remember many occasions sitting in bed at night and just staring at the ceiling and just dreading the next day. just dreading, like, what am I going to do? Or, you have everybody, not everybody, but like I would say the vast majority of people have had bullies in their life.
Yeah.
And when you're younger, it takes a big toll on your emotions to have those bullies in your life, and you dread going to school the next day.
Yeah. You
dread having to see those people the next day. For me, some of those people existed at school and some of them existed at home. And I did not want to see them, or certain times when you were on their good side, you were okay. And then other times when you're on their bad side, you just like, I have to spend the next day with this individual and I just don't want to. And, you're staring at the ceiling and
so when did you realize that you were an anxious person?
When I was an adult, mid-20s. I knew there was always something like something going on. Like there was like overthinking, but there were times where like I literally had nothing. Like there was literally no reason. And all of a sudden I would just be like, just felt nervous.
Was there anything that helped you when you were at that young age?
Unfortunately, no, because I didn't realize what it was. And I just thought that it was like, well, if I'm feeling this, everybody else must be feeling this. This must be normal. And, as a kid, you just like, you think everything that's happening to you is the normal thing, right? Unfortunately, and you don't.
It's just puberty.
Yeah, right? And it's, you just don't know, right? And it's something that you don't necessarily understand what you're going through. You don't, like, you talk to people about it, you talk to parents about it, you talk to whatever, and nothing against, my parents or anybody else that I talk to, but if they don't know, they chalk it up to, well, it'll pass. You're fine. Or, just
part of life.
Or, just practice more. Or, it's just something that you're going to have to face, or, whatever. If it was like, a wrestling tournament or, fight or something.
Yeah. Coaches, you'll get over it. It's just jitters or adrenaline or.
And I know for you had, a lot of bullying when you were younger. You were a pretty big bully. You still are to me. But in all seriousness, you had to deal with a lot of that. When you were young, did that cause you any kind of anxiety or anything?
Not to the point where I dreaded going to school the next day, or, was up at night just staring at the ceiling. Mm-hmm. A lot of my bully survival mode was figuring out what triggered it, and if it was clothing or shoes or hairstyle or something like that, I just would avoid whatever it was. Like if it was my shoes, I never wore those shoes again. If it was a specific something about my clothing, I would never wear that again.
Is that constant urge to try to fit in?
Yeah.
Yeah. So long story short, my mental health issues peaked when I was in my mid to late 20s, and I was actually training, and I took a fairly severe head injury. Yeah. And it wasn't anything that anybody would expect would have caused it, right? It's like, I've kickboxed pretty much my whole life. I've done some form of martial arts. I've wrestled. I've taken hard head hits in wrestling where we both shot at the same time and collided heads. And I actually put me on my ass. You take a head hit head to head and something just slams you on your ass from full speed going forward.
Yeah.
Like it does some shit to you, And it was weird. I was just doing some guard drills with a smaller woman that was in our class, and she was about 125 pounds maybe. She bursted past my guard in a drill, and I took a knee to the side of the head right on top of the ear, and it hit me hard enough there and it scraped down that I literally felt like my ear was hanging off my head.
Oh, wow.
And I remember the first thing I did was see if my ear was still intact.
Make sure it was
I was
still
just
attached.
Like, motherfucker, like, why did you hit? Like, why?
Yeah.
Like, but then, and it wasn't like we were fighting. Like, it wasn't like we were competing against each other. Like, it was literally like a situational drill, and it just shit happens, But I got hit so hard that it felt like my ear was hanging off my head. And I checked it, my ear's intact, and I'm like, okay, well, and I went another like 1 or 2 rounds, And it was just like, pain, right? You got hit, right? Pain, stuff like that, like localized pain.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden the room started spinning and I couldn't catch my breath. And my eyes felt like they were fading in and out. And I felt like I was going to pass out. And I remember like almost in a panic mode, like, what the heck? I'm dying. Like, what is happening? And I remember the only thing that could get me to chill out is we have a portable air conditioner fan in the gym. And I had to put my face in front of it. And I had to sit there and let the cold air hit me. And I had to just concentrate on the cold air because I was dizzy. The lights were going in and out. Everything was like, I thought I was dying. Like, I was like, what, like, is my brain bleeding? Like, what is happening? I dealt with post-concussive syndrome and different elements of that for years afterwards. And like where there would be times where, like, I mean, we would go out to dinner or something like that. And I literally could not read the bar tabs for the beers.
Yeah.
Because my eyes were just blurry. And I've never really had eye issues. Like I don't wear glasses. Like, but it's like, I felt like I needed glasses.
Yeah.
And then like I would be driving down the road and then certain times it would just trigger and I would have headaches all the time and like I couldn't read street signs. And I was just like, why can't I fucking read a street sign? Sorry, language, but like, why can't I read a street sign? Like, this is ridiculous. And then every single time that happens, you think something's seriously wrong with you. You think you're going to die.
Yeah.
And it just like sets in almost like a panic, like something's really wrong with me. And not only did it affect me in a physical way, but I had a lot of effects emotionally.
Yeah.
Like I remember going through like a really deep depression. I would get panic attacks for no reason. So I would be in the lab. I used to work for a semiconductor space solar company, and I was in a test engineering and R&D department. So I would be in a lab doing tests. And when we got the data back on those tests, I had Python macros, and I had things that we had set up to where I analyzed the data. So you put in the data and you're typing, and I'm literally sitting at a lab table, putting in the data and running running the data through whatever macro, like I can't even remember what I was doing, but some kind of macro. And I just remember like my hands are on this keyboard and I can't breathe. And I'm like, oh, what's going on? And I just can't catch my breath. And then like the room is almost spinning. Like everything feels like a friend of mine who had a similar head injury pointed it out. It feels like you're living your life walking on a waterbed.
Weird.
Because like nothing ever feels stable. Everything feels jacked up. And all of a sudden you can't breathe and and I remember it, like I had to literally leave the lab, keep my head looking like straight ahead and just go outside and like do laps around the whole campus of the building and just stressing out. And then the more the more that I kind of dealt with this, I learned different ways to kind of mitigate it. Like when these like kind of flare-ups happened, or when my eyes, and I would start like really looking at like focusing on things kind of far away, trying to like really level my body.
Yeah.
But I noticed that I would get a lot more anxiety at night. I noticed that certain things would trigger anxiety. So like caffeine had an effect on my headaches and my eyes. So like if I drank like a coffee in the morning or like had an energy drink, all of a sudden my eyes would go out of focus and it would be hard to see for a while until the caffeine wore off. And I found out later that was because most of my issues from the concussion were actually whiplash. And it was actually putting pressure on the optical nerves from my neck. Because your neck, the muscles in your neck and your vestibular system go around your head and it attaches all through here, your eyes. It's crazy, but like if you get your neck jarred, all of your balance, all of your vision, a lot of things can absolutely change from a whiplash injury that feel very similar to the effects of a concussion. So for years, my brain was fine, but my neck was affecting me. But what it would do is that it would actually keep me in this state where I constantly thought like, this is my permanent existence. This sucks. Like, this is terrible. And then you would read online. It's like, well, post-concussive syndromes can last between 2 and 4 weeks. It's like, okay, well, I'm on year 2. And like, or
Well, I
year,
remember you went and saw like several different doctors
I
about
saw
it
all
too.
kinds of doctors.
Trying to figure it out.
Neurologists, ophthalmologists,
Yeah.
General practitioner doctors, several of all of them.
Yeah.
And I had a neurologist that literally told me, "Have you tried meditation?" And I'm like,
He was definitely the winner of all the doctors.
yeah, I'm like what? Like, I took a head concussion and I'm having nerve issues. And then I had a neurologist that was a friend of mine who gave those shots that kind of like kill the nerves in the area.
Yeah.
And all
A
it did
nerve
was
blocker.
nerve blocker. And all it did was just make me feel worse. And I felt dizzier. But the thing that a lot of people didn't realize with this, that I didn't realize, is that there's a lot of the emotional regulation that you have comes from your nervous system.
Mm-hmm.
And when your nerves get disrupted in your neck or wherever, and the nerve pathways through your spine or over to your head aren't regulated, they're blocked, it's like a clogged pipe in a way, it can have devastating emotional ishes.
Interesting.
And so like panic attacks, severe depression, like the anxiety, the natural anxiety. So there's like, in my opinion, there's different kinds of anxiety. There's like the nervousness of lack of preparation before a test. And then there's like, for no reason, I'm looking at this can right here and all of a sudden I can't breathe.
Yeah.
And I'm having a freaking panic attack. And you're like, but why?
Yeah.
Like I'm not having a panic attack because like the high school situation, or I'm sorry, the middle school situation, like, oh, my bully's there. Like, and he's gonna, like the last couple of days he's been in there, he's been like threatening to fight me in front of everybody and whatever. And you know, whatever.
Yeah.
And like, it wasn't the same. It was literally like, I could not think of why this is happening. I am sitting in a lab doing data analysis and you just can't breathe. And then you find out later that it's literally nerve impacts, like nerve issues, nervous system overstimulation that starts shutting you down. And I saw doctors. I remember I saw my primary care, and he's just like, well, have you tried so-and-so drug, like SSRI drug?
Yeah, he just wanted to put you on antidepressants and anti-anxiety pills. And I know that one of them that you took, you definitely reacted to poorly.
Very poorly.
So much to the point that you took yourself off immediately because you knew.
Well, it was an alarm. It was an alarm in my head. So there was ones that made me just feel like trash.
Yeah.
Like I would take one and I just felt like almost sick, dizzy, like head pressure, like gross, terrible feeling, like horrible feeling.
But the other one, I remember it sent you spiraling.
And the doctor was just like, oh no, that's just like, you just have to get used to it. You take it for about a week. And I'm like, I am not dealing with that for a week. Like that's horrible feeling. Like I almost can't even function. Like I want to sit in a dark room and not move. And you're telling me I have to do that for a week? Like I have work. Yeah. Like I have labs, I have projects, like I have deadlines. Like I can't do that shit. Got off of it immediately. It took like 2 days to recover. But the one that you're talking about was and it's something that's interesting with when people say like you have suicidal feelings. And I apologize for anybody who's going through this. And if this is like triggering to you, I know, because it was to me at the point where like anytime anybody mentioned it, it triggered an anxiety in you, like an anxiety path of like just bringing it up. Yeah. So I do sincerely apologize for anybody who's going through that right now, that if these stories are bringing that up in you, I want to be there. I want to be supportive, but I also want to share the story because there is a positive. There is a light at the end of the tunnel, and it doesn't feel like it now, but there is, I promise you, a light at the end of the tunnel. So I remember laying in bed and I was on this other one and I can't remember what it was. It started with a B. I don't remember any of these drugs names. I don't even know if sometimes doctors even remember their names because they're ridiculous names and there's different, whatever. So I'm sitting in bed and I'm taking these pills and I just remember thinking like, it's not like you have an urge to kill yourself. Like I need to go find something and kill myself, probably going to get struck on YouTube for that, but it's unalive myself. I don't want to go find something and unalive myself. It's thinking to yourself, would the world really matter? Like, would anything really matter if I died or if I was gone? Like, you think about it, and you really like, and it's not something like it's just like a back of your mind conversation. It's like forefront. It's like, would anybody really be sad? I don't think so. And you really have like this despair. You're really sad. You're really internal. And I remember there being, we didn't have children. So I didn't have my guns locked up. You know,
Yeah.
I just had, you know, gun cases.
We had one on the nightstand, I think.
I had one.
They both were in
They were in
the
the
closet.
in the office closet, right? I had them in cases. And I just remember it'd be like, it's right down there. Like, it's not even far. Like, would anybody care? And it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't like, it wasn't like I had this urge to end. It was the thought process of, life doesn't freaking matter. Nobody cares. What's the point? This existence sucks. Screw it. You know?
Yeah.
And I don't know what happened, but like an alarm went off in my head. And it was just like, no. Like, this is terrible path. Get yourself off whatever the hell you just took. Like, stop it. Like, stop right now. And I remember like just putting my hands in my head and just being like, just fucking raging. And I'm like, this is not me. I'm not going to go down this path. I'm not going to grab that gun. And I didn't even look at that gun. Like, it was a handgun. And I was like, I'm not even going to look at it for weeks. I wouldn't even look at it, like, because it was so close to being in my hand that I was just like, no, like, I'm not going to fucking look at it. And it just, like, even the thought of it, I felt ashamed, almost like it was a moment of weakness, like a moment where I let a weak part of myself take over and tell me that to give up. And being in martial arts, being in fighting for so long, being a competitor for so long, that was always drilled in our head. It's like one of the things that if I have to say, and I have a very hard time saying that I'm ever proud of myself. Very hard time. And it's honestly, I really believe in personal accountability, but in this case, it was the way I grew up. I had people in my life that were close to me that constantly found every single reason to shit on me. Anything accomplished, shit on it, or tell me like it wasn't that good or it wasn't anything. So my whole life, I was never proud of myself. But one of the only things that I am really, truly proud of myself on that I can say is that I don't give up. Like, I am relentless stubborn on things.
It's annoying
sometimes. like relentlessly stubborn on things. And I think honestly it stems from a lot of that in the past, like of just people always making you feel inadequate, like your entire like family members, close family members that you consider like brothers, you know,
people that should have been there,
people
that
should have had your back, people that were like you were raised as like a brother that constantly shit on you, and found ways to constantly bring you down, and it made me relentlessly stubborn in that way. But so to see that element of me come out to where I felt like I was about to give up was just like every voice that always told me I wasn't good enough said, we almost got you.
Yeah.
You know, we almost won. And that to me was one of the biggest, like, get off, like, figure this shit out.
Yeah.
You know, and then I went through a journey of research.
I remember you researched everything to no end, honestly.
It was,
you trial and errored a bunch of stuff.
I still have cabinets full of random supplements and things.
So
like full, like can't see the back.
So why don't you talk a little bit about what you did find that worked?
So it's hard to just, there's no one thing.
Well, I know
You know,
I know it's
yeah.
no one, but the things that did eventually work for you, that, and I know it was multiple. You went and saw a massage,
So
physical therapist.
yeah.
You got dry needled.
So once I
helped
found,
relieve some of that, so that helped.
I would say that the biggest thing that helped me, and I don't want to say, and I want to bring up something real fast, and it's not really a tangent. It's not really, but I was listening to a chat with this like 6-time Mr. Olympia, and he was in his truck, you know, he's doing like a little phone conversation, whatever, real, and like, and he said like, I got a question. What's my biggest piece of advice that I would give to somebody starting out? And he said, anybody who gives you one piece of advice, don't trust them. Don't believe them. He goes, there is no one piece of advice. There is no one thing that works, that's just going to change your life. That's just going to do it, right? We all know what, and this is him speaking. He goes, we all know what we need to do to be successful at whatever it is that we're trying to do. We all know it. If you're trying to lift weights, if you're trying to be a bodybuilder, success is just being consistent and disciplined.
Yeah.
Like lifting the weights, doing the research, getting your diet on point, like, you know, whatever like that. And he's like, but nobody wants to do it. Everybody wants the hack.
Yeah.
But nobody wants the work. And that's what sets people apart. And that's what makes a difference. So in a way, coming back to that, anybody who gives you advice on mental health and just says, oh, just do this, just get on the SSRI. I don't want to hate on SSRIs because I know that they have been beneficial for some people, but there are a lot of individuals that I have met and known through the years that were prescribed them that should never have been on them. And it did so much damage to them. And like I've seen people, I've had friends and people that I've known that had to come off of them and were contemplating suicide and going through the darkest paths, darker than I've been through, you know, and that's, to me, that was saying something, and it's like, and the fact that they came out on the other end and they weaned themselves off of it. My mom was just telling me about her friend that was put on it for anxiety. And my mom's just trying to get her to go out and exercise, just go out and walk, just go out and move. And she's like, well, the SSRI is messing me up so bad that my doctors want me off of it. But they said that I have to cold turkey it. But the thing is that every single time I try cold turkeying it, my body is so dependent on it that it puts me in like this terrible spiral where she wants to just end it. And I'm like, that's so terrible. So anyway, so going back to it, I don't want to give people one piece of advice, but one thing that you absolutely have to do, and it's one thing that I ran into right off the bat, and I'm so thankful to God or to the universe or whoever gave me this, that I am so damn stubborn. But it's when you're researching about post-concussive syndrome and concussions, and everybody online is saying that if your symptoms have lasted for a year, there is a 95% chance that it's permanent. And you read that, and I'm like, well, I'm on a 1.5 years.
I remember having the conversation with you where you were upset.
Yeah.
And I was trying to talk you off the ledge of, we'll find a way, we'll work through it. Like, yeah. And we did. We started going through literally anything and everything that we could.
Yeah.
And I mostly was just the cheerleader at that point because I couldn't fix it for you.
Yeah, it was.
But your stubbornness kept going.
It was hard. But no, it's one of the things that I feel like if there was one piece of advice, if there was one thing, it was, don't let other individuals tell you what you're capable of. You know, because there are going to be times where people tell you, it's like, well, nobody else has done this. You know what else? You know what? Nobody ran a 4-minute mile until somebody did. You know, nobody did. And then once people like found out that was true, like that you could do that, then all kinds of people were hitting it. You know, it just took one person to find out that you could do something. And then everybody else realized that it was possible, and it started happening more and more and more. And to me, that was probably the biggest change in my mindset. Is like, no, there's got to be a way. No, there's got to be a fucking way. Like, there has to be a way. And I just kept going through it. And I throughout that process, I learned so much. For example, my rest and recovery to heal was shit.
It's still
it's pretty good now. It's pretty good now. But there was a lot of impacts. Following that head injury, my hormones plummeted into the ground. And I had I believe it was an endocrinologist or something, and another doctor tell me, it's like, yeah, like years of weight cuts, years of high stress on your body through fighting and martial arts and training have put your testosterone into the ground. Like, I had the testosterone of an 80-year-old man when I was early 30s.
Yeah.
And I couldn't figure it out. And like, I was always stressed. I couldn't sleep and whatever. And there is a lot of natural supplements that you can get on that reduce the cortisol, reduce the stress, that boost it up. For men who do TRT, and then that's a separate video that I'll probably go over in a different topic. But there's a lot of ways that you can bring it back up, natural and prescription, and that was a huge factor for me. But also sleep. I didn't sleep well. I still have my moments where I don't sleep well.
You sleep a lot better now, but yeah, you used to wake up
all the time.
All the time.
Stressed all the time, like, and whatever.
And not just like wake up, like toss and turn, wake up, like shoot out of bed.
Yeah.
Like rip the blankets off.
Ready to fight people.
Yeah.
Like ready to fucking go to war.
Wake up.
Yeah. All the time. And it used to happen a lot. And I still talk to people at the gym about this, that they're like, well, it's like, my sleep's fine, but I'm always tired. And then people who have anxiety, it's like, well, like, I sometimes sleep bad, I sometimes sleep good. But I always have anxiety, I always have stress. And it's like, well, a lot of people drink caffeine before they go to practice. And most of our practices are in the evening, like 5 o'clock and after. And they're drinking, like, coming in with like a Ghost energy drink or something. This is a Poppy. This isn't an energy drink, but they're coming in with an iced coffee, and they're like, well, that's not my problem because I sleep through the night. And that's what I thought too. It's like, well, I mean, I get 8 hours of sleep. It's like, but do you really? It's like, you get 8 hours of unconsciousness.
Yeah.
But you don't get 8 hours of sleep.
Well, it's not, you're not getting recovery sleep. You're not getting rest. You're asleep, but you're not resting.
It's like, the way I like to kind of think about it is like, if we dive into a swimming pool and you put a bunch of coins in the swimming pool, what are the coins going to do? They're going to go to the bottom. But what if your recovery was based on the coins that you get? Okay. You jump in the swimming pool, you're submerged in the swimming pool, but everybody who doesn't have the good sleep hygiene, doesn't have the, like, relies on the caffeine all day or whatever, they stay at the surface of the pool. So they're still underwater.
Yeah.
They're still unconscious.
Yeah.
In the sense of, like, the water is your consciousness, but they never go down. They never dive deep to get the coins at the bottom, because the caffeine, the high cortisol in your body, the stress, everything. And I know caffeine is just an adenosine blocker, but it doesn't allow your body to get down enough to sleep. So you stay surface level. So it's like, well, I have people, it's like, well, I sleep 8 hours. And it's like, okay, you're on the top snorkeling, essentially, for 8 hours. You never go down.
Yeah.
And then the next day, they have to rely on coffee all day long. They have to take Adderall or ephedrins of some kind, like, to focus and have energy and whatever. That further plummets your natural hormone production, because your body can't remove all of the cortisol stress hormones from your body. And cortisol suppresses natural male testosterone. So what happens is that as you stop recovering, your workouts get shittier. You can't push as hard. Your brain seems kind of foggy. You keep pounding caffeine to try to just, keep the train on the tracks. and you sleep at night, you think you're getting 8 hours of sleep, and then you wonder why you have anxiety all day is because your body can't get rid of the stress. Your body can't actually recover. Your body is in a fight or flight situation because it thinks it's dying, because you're never getting that deep sleep. And that was something I had to learn the hard way as well, because I didn't realize that. I'm like, well, I'm unconscious for 8 hours a day, but why do I always feel tired? Like, why am I always, and it's like a head tired. Like you just always feel like you're going to like do this. And then your body wasn't recovering. For me, that was contributing significantly to anxiety, depression, stuff like that, because your sleep has a huge factor in that. Mm-hmm. I had to start cutting off my caffeine after noon. So after 12 o'clock, because caffeine has a half-life, it'll stay in your body for a long period of time. It's just like if you start off with 200 milligrams, in like 4 hours, you're still at 100 milligrams in your body. In 4 hours after that, you're in like 50 milligrams. It's like, I don't realize
it stayed in your system for so long.
I don't know the breakdown on it.
Caffeine, so
you're one of the anomalies that gets through your entire life without drinking caffeine at all.
Well, no, I mean, I do have caffeine here and there, but it's not
really.
I know.
So it's like Cassie's version of a caffeine is like, I drank this caffeine green tea this morning that had 20 milligrams of caffeine.
It still has caffeine. You can hate all you want.
Cassie's bouncing off the wall, but so I had to stop it at noon. And then there are a bunch of supplements and things that most people are naturally deficient in, that when you take it, stabilize your mood, help you sleep. And like I said, guys, I'm going to make a list on these for specific categories, for specific things like magnesiums, vitamin D, and those are just the basic ones. Then you can go even deeper, removing cortisol. There's herbs called ashwagandha out there that helped me with naturally boosting testosterone and lowering cortisol, because it brings the cortisol out of your body. It helps you with that. So. And I'm not going to go into the science like that on this podcast, or in this chat, but there's so many of those and so many things that you can do, but there's specific kinds as well. So like magnesium has like 6 or 7 different kinds. One of them specifically is for sleep.
Oh, okay.
1 or 2 of them. And if you're taking the wrong one, it doesn't actually help you. Same thing goes with certain herbs, certain supplements that you're taking in specific doses, or even specific versions of it don't help you. Yeah. So like I'm just for an example, a lot of people rely, especially when they've been doing like running, martial arts, lifting, whatever, for a long period of time, anti-inflammatories for their joints. There's actually an anti-inflammatory that you can get naturally. It's called turmeric. It has curcuminoids. Yeah. It helps you. You can take turmeric, but fun little fact, there's a turmeric specifically for your brain. It passes the blood-brain barrier. It's called Mariva. And you can take Mariva. I was taking it post-concussion. Some individual that I knew was just like, oh yeah, this one specifically is formulated that it helps with inflammation in your brain.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I had no idea. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. So I was taking all of that. And then, just tons of different supplements, tons of different things that you can do. But I know for some people, the basics in, diet and exercise.
Well, I was going to say, I can segue in on that.
Can be huge.
Your diet affects your mood, your nervous system, your brain, your everything. It's like so many vitamins and micronutrients are needed for your brain support. Vitamin B and vitamin D heavily play a huge role in
most people are deficient in vitamin D. I would say what is it, like 80% of individuals are deficient in vitamin D or some high number.
Yeah. In your nervous system. And omega-3s play a giant role with your brain and your mood stability. And then there's so much more you can go into with your gut microbiome.
And omega-3s have even different There's different
There's different
versions.
stations. I know.
There's different versions of it. So like
so that's,
EPA and DHA.
Yeah.
EPA is all about like your body, not all about, but like EPA helps your body significantly. DHA helps your brain.
Mhm.
Like, but people just grab fish oil. It's like, oh, this is fish oil. Fish oil has omega-3 fatty acids.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, but what kind?
But that's
Like, because you have high doses of both.
Yeah. So, and that's why there's such a big push right now for diets to just change in the sense of going to whole foods and trying to stray away from processed foods.
So
right?
what is the difference between the processed and the whole foods?
Well, so
if I get a hamburger from McDonald's versus making a hamburger on my on my own.
So when it comes to that, like there is no difference essentially in, I mean, there are some differences because
chemicals, preservatives.
When you go to
like
the
that.
store, like you can buy a leaner meat or better meat or a low carb bun or a gluten-free bun or you can make your own bread at home where you know right.
And you don't have the chemicals. Like the person who left the McDonald's hamburger out for like a week and it never rotted.
Well, but like I don't want to deep dive into that. But like when we talk like whole foods instead of processed, what we mean is mostly in the fruits and vegetable produce sections.
Okay.
Where you're eating.
They naturally grew. They didn't have to have like a combination of a whole bunch of shit to hold it together.
Yeah. Because you're going to get a bunch of your vitamins and micronutrients that you need from all of those fruits and vegetables. And then it's the same with your meats, right? Like going and getting your chicken and your ground beef and your turkey and those things, right? Like, yes, some of those are processed in the way that they're packaged, but it's not processed in the sense of you're not going and buying, what's the most heavily processed? Chips, Doritos.
You can't even read or you can't even pronounce most of the ingredients list.
Right. Like, like that's what we mean, right? Is trying to not stay away completely, because I think that that is asking too much of us as human beings. But I mean, if you can start limiting those things and going further into the unprocessed and whole foods, you'll feel a lot better. It's not going to be instant, and it's not going to like heal you to the point where it's magic, right? But it will help balance.
I think for a lot of people it is, though. A lot of people it will. I know so many people that have gotten healthier, lost weight, and they said it completely changed how they felt in their moods.
Well, yeah, your mood, in
anxiety, stability,
everything like that just becomes a lot more stable, because now your hormones can do their jobs and they can regulate themselves, and because they're not running overdrive trying to keep up with the fact that you just shoved 5,000 calories down your throat in one day, when in reality you really only need
and the stress response
2,000 or 2,500, right?
Because your body, I mean, I'm sure you could probably go in depth on this, but everybody's body has a stress response and an inflammation response following eating. That's why certain foods make you really tired. Like if you eat a really heavy food and you feel really lethargic and tired, it's actually your body's, I want to say, and probably correct me if I'm wrong here, but it's an inflammation response.
Sometimes.
Yeah,
so, not always, but sometimes.
So there's times where if you have like a sensitivity, or if you have something that's just like heavily processed or whatever, your body will create an actual inflammation response that's what makes you really tired. And sometimes it's just like, it's heavily, it's a heavy meal. Like if you eat like a very like heavy carb or a heavy steak or something like that, and it just takes the energy from you to digest it. Or whatever.
It's just your body going in overdrive to maintain instead of being able to live.
So there's a lot of individuals that can honestly change a lot of their mental health, like the effects of mental health on them, by just simply having a better diet.
There's a lot of studies out there that say that your diet plays a giant part in your anxiety levels, your depression levels, your mood swings, essentially. It's not to say that is the cure-all for everybody's case, but it's definitely a place that everybody should start.
But in the case of and then going back to that, like one piece of advice kind of topic right here, mental health and a lot of these benefits are all about stacking pieces.
Oh, yeah.
It's all about the sum of a whole bunch of things that you're doing. It's never one thing.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, I got my diet in check. It's like, okay, well, what's another one? Fitness.
Yeah.
Moving. Fitness, moving. Like you move every day specifically because it keeps you sane. And you have, like we were talking about it in a different video, like you have non-negotiables. Like I move 5 to 6 days a week regardless, because if I don't, I start getting short-tempered, like snappy with our boys. Like it's your emotional regulation, because working out releases endorphins, which help with pain management, mood, and things. It helps with you get dopamine, you get serotonin, you get I think there's a few others in there, but you get a lot of these releases into your body of chemicals that help stabilizing mood, stabilizing pain, stabilizing, just all different parts of your body that your body needs. But it also burns off a lot of the excess energy. And then furthermore, it if you're carrying less weight because you're healthier, it plays a significant role in your mental health as well.
Yeah.
So, and that's why we generally tell people, like where for most people, being active, having a better diet can actually play a huge part in your mental health. Coming in and training, coming into the gym. Like we have people that come in all the time that say that they train not because they want to fight, but because it is a mental health stability for them.
Yeah.
And it's something that like surprisingly a lot of our athletes use. I used it. I still do use it from time to time. It's a little harder for me now because I teach so much. It's like I don't really get that same workout.
Yeah.
But I use weightlifting. I use exercise. I use training. And I still get it as well. But there's a lot of people who use it, especially we have a lot of veterans, former veterans who've served in active combat or active zones or whatever, who are so stressed and have that, like the PTSD and things like that. They will literally use martial arts as a way to center themselves.
Yeah.
So it's something that a lot of people can use to benefit from. What do you think, just kind of going into another topic around this, as far as men go, how do you feel personally about men and showing emotions as a female? And the reason I have a reason going into this.
So like
I'm not trying to do like a gotcha question or anything like that.
So when you say showing emotions, does that mean like visibly crying or like I think the stigma behind men and emotions is like all.
Yeah, I guess emotions is very broad.
Always
not like losing their shit, raging and punching walls.
Well, I was gonna say like that's what comes to mind is like that's all we think of is like guys just rage and fight each other and punch walls.
And that's emotional lack of regulation on emotion.
Yeah.
So what I'm talking about specifically is there's been a big movement in the community of masculinity where individuals say that men should be more open with emotions. And men traditionally throughout many, many years have been very stoic.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that's a good thing either, but men have a tendency to hold in on emotions. So a lot of the movement has been, well, men should be able to express more emotions and cry. But then what happens is that in a lot of cases that I've been reading and researching on is when a man expresses an emotion like that, like grief, like crying, like something like that, women are biologically turned off from it and will often lose respect for the man.
So me personally, I'm not bothered or turned off by somebody who is crying or grieving or showing what I now use as big emotions because we've got children. I'm like, oh, we've got some big feelings today, don't we?
Right.
But I think for me, in what has been really hard and something that we've worked on a lot is communication. Is I don't necessarily need you to openly cry or feel okay to openly cry. But if you are hurting or you are grieving or you are whatever, that I want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Not just you go sit in a corner and deal with it however you want. And
which is actually my modus operandi. It's like I hold it all in. I just stoic face, but that's how I've been my whole life.
Just figure out how to walk around it or be around it. And I think maybe that's where things might get disheveled or misconstrued, is women are like, oh, we want you to be more emotional, when maybe all we want is just communication.
No, women specifically say they want crying until they get it, and then they don't want the man anymore.
Well, that's weird.
And
I don't know why you would say you want something and then leave somebody for doing that said something.
I don't know. But
that's just something that I personally cannot wrap my brain around. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't compute. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I want you to go run a mile every single day. And when you start running a mile every single day and you get really fit and you can now run a mile faster than me, then I'm going to be pissed and leave you for it. Like, that's silly. Like, that's the same thing. Like, I want you to sit here and cry with me. And then when you do, I'm like, oh, that's ridiculous. I'm going to go find a man that's not going to cry. Like, that's silly.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's surprising how many do, or the amount of women that, and I'm not just ragging on women, but the amount of women who want men to open up and share their feelings, but then aren't willing to help them when they do. It's like there's no support. It's like, I want you to do this for me. I want you to be more sensitive. And then when they are, it's not met with any kind of warm reception or any kind of like help.
So something that I've been working on a lot lately, not only for myself, but also I've kind of started to do it with you a little bit, is when I get into those situations where I'm like venting to you or complaining or being open. A lot of times I will be like, you know what? I actually don't want like logic from you. I just want,
which is the male default. In most cases, men need to fix things.
And so
women don't often need things fixed.
What I've started doing is, before I start venting or even after I'm done venting, I will tell you, like, I don't want your logic. I just want your sympathy, or I just want your support, or I just want to riot like we riot at dawn.
Yeah.
And that has helped a lot, because you no longer feel like you need to fix it for me. Well, maybe you still do, but you don't voice it.
Well, no, it's fixing it for you in the way that you told me to fix it.
Yeah, but now you can
which is much easier for
needed.
me. Yeah, it's much easier for me.
But I've also had to do that with myself. Like, when
you do that with your clients too.
When I'm talking to myself or I'm in my head about whatever, I'm like, well, what's my end on this? Like, what do I like? Do I just want to be mad and need to get it out, or do I like legitimately want to find a way to solve this? Yeah. But yes, I do also use that with my clients.
Yeah, you have it with your clients. It's like, okay, do you need, like you were saying it the other day,
do you want tough love or do you want a cheerleader? Because I can do either or.
Yeah, it's like, I tell you, it's like, oh, you're doing so great, just keep with it.
It's fine.
Or just like, get your head out of your ass, let's go. Like,
but I think, I think
but people need different things. People aren't always in an emotionally receptive state to take the tough love.
Yeah, I think that just we as a society, we get so caught up in the fact that it's one way or the other, when in reality, there is no black and white on communication or showing emotion or any of that. Because what you and I have agreed upon, that this is how we communicate, somebody else could be like, oh, that's asinine, I would never do that. This is how we do it. Right? Everybody's way is different. So you can't just base off of like this, a healthy relationship is this because so-and-so does it that way. Like, everybody's different. And I think that your mindset, and I also think that's why therapy has been such a big thing right now for everybody.
I have my whole feelings on that.
I know you do. But whether it's couples therapy or individual or marriage or any of that, right? Like, it's very big right now. And it's because I think a lot of people were so tunnel vision on this is how it has to be, and going to a therapist and having somebody open your mind a little bit has allowed that tunnel to open up, so we're not so like driven on this.
Therapist is one of those words that just bother me because I there's so many, like, I disagree with it so much. And it's not like I disagree with therapy. I disagree with a lot of their treatments. When you come in and you have a terrible diet, you're unhealthy, and your therapist is just like letting you air out your grievances and like just trying to help you, like, well, and then we'll try this drug, try this medication. Well, you just need to work through these. Like, no, you need to freaking get yourself healthy first. Like, there's so many other things contributing to this. And granted, I'm trying triggering a shit ton of people online, but there are so many other factors. It's the stacking of all the blocks. And it's the primary care physicians who say, when you come in and like, oh, just take this SSRI. It's like, oh, there's so many different things to this. Like, you can't just tell somebody that, like, I'm going to work in. I'm not talking about trauma survivors. Like, obviously trauma survivors, that's a big
No,
thing.
I know.
But
so I was listening to a podcast the other day, and it was about nutrition and diet. And doctors came up. And I think what we've done as a society in general is we want our primary to solve all of our problems, or we want our therapist to solve all of our problems.
Yeah.
But in reality, those people aren't equipped to be able to solve all of our problems when we need to go see a specialist for that said thing.
Yeah.
And that's the problem that we land into is instead of seeking out a specialist that will help us with that specific whatever is going on in our lives, we just are like, oh, well, Google or whatever social media influencer.
WebMD, I have cancer now.
Like I just said, and this is what I'm going to do now. Like,
yeah.
And I think that we have information overload instead of seeking the people who are actually.
Yeah. Or seeking all of the different
informed.
Things instead of, like you're saying. And again, that's my problem with therapists is like, people go to them with everything when there's so many other things that you can do that people aren't disciplined in.
That's generalizing though. There are people out there that see specific ones for specific reasons.
Okay, no, yeah, you're right. I'm not talking like ones like
everybody into that.
I agree. Like, there's trauma specialists. There's specific specialists for different things. But I guess the over-reliance on it right now frustrates me. And this like kind of goes into the topic I wanted to speak on about, like, specifically how masculinity has changed. In my view, masculinity is about having extreme ownership and kind of personal and self-control, and also being a protector. And the thing is that, like, men have been slowly that has been slowly degraded in men, where men don't find the need to be the protector, to be a self-accountable, to be like all of the traits that if I were to tell my son today, like, what are the defining traits that make you masculine? And I would say, like, well, it's not about just your ability to go and lose your mind and go fight people. Like, that just makes you an animal. Like, that doesn't make you masculine. But masculine is the sense of being a protector and having a purpose in not only protection, but in providing, and purposelessness is a huge factor right now in mental health. A lot of men don't feel like they have a purpose. Like it's an epidemic right now. It's there was a podcaster that says that we like the biggest thing in mental health right now is the crisis of purpose. It's like so many people don't feel like they have a purpose. But then going back to like the masculine side of it, society has been degrading it so much where we're all equal, right? We can all do the same exact things as good as each other and whatever. It's like, I don't agree with that at all. I think men and women have specific roles. And I'm not saying like you can't do the things that I can do or whatever, but you are equipped much better in certain areas than I am.
Yeah.
Like for example, my brain is always wired to just fix. Your brain is wired for nuance and emotion. So like, that's why women make, in most cases, not in all cases, but in most cases, better bedside manner for nurses. and for helping with children and helping with trauma victims and helping with a lot of things like that, because you have a bigger tool set for those. Whereas men, it's like we protect. Like, I'm not going to send a woman and be like, hey, here's a sword, go protect my house. It's like, well, it's like, okay, cool. That's not really what you're equipped for. Like, it's not really what you're built for. It's like, so we have our different things, but right now masculinity has been degraded so much, and it's been causing a lot of mental health because men are losing their purpose in life in a lot of ways. But then going back to that, the removal of accountability has been, to me, a huge factor for all of the athletes and all the individuals I see who are going through depression and who are going through different things in life, or not even our athletes, right? Like, not just people in general. It's like, well, what are you taking account for in your life? Are you trying to fix it? Or are you just complaining about it? It's like, well, I'm, name the problem. It's like, okay, well, what steps are you taking to actually fix that problem? It's like, well, I'm going to go see my doctor. No, don't go see your doctor. Your doctor's just going to give you a drug.
Yeah.
Right? What are the steps that you are actually taking? What are the goals? Are you being disciplined about it? And to me, that is such a big factor in mental health, because as men especially, we need to have goals. We need to have a purpose. But when you're flying through the world aimlessly, you're just playing video games and watching porn and not having like sex or relationships or social interactions with friends or whatever, your ability to have that outlet, to have purpose in life, to have, all of those things just gets completely degraded. And then you have all of these men, like this 80% suicide rate, in not 80% over the population, but out of all suicides, 80% are men. And you have like this high rate of suicide. You have like, I think it was like 39,000 people, 39,000 men unalive themselves last year. Wow. And you have all of these huge factors, but where is the accountability in this? Like, I'm not saying that all men, like, do it yourself, man up, like all that stuff like that we were told. But I'm saying, like, if you're staying in your basement, you're playing video games and you're jacking off to porn all day, it's like, you're going to be miserable.
Yeah.
You're not going to but it's on you, not your doctor to give you the SSRI or whatever from that situation. It's on you to get out, get sunlight, go out and be with friends. It's like, okay, well, I don't have friends. It's like, I have a hard time making friends. Cool. Go to a jiu-jitsu gym. Everybody, like, we're all friends. Like, we all, like,
you're all a bunch of weirdos.
Right? We have so many people that come to our gym literally for that reason. Like, they joined a gym because they wanted to have a social camaraderie. Yeah. Like, it wasn't even about fighting. It wasn't even about self-defense. It wasn't even about fitness. It was, they wanted social interaction. And we still have that.
The fitness community in general, is like that.
CrossFit's
like that. People join because their coworker told them to come check it out, and now they have friends, like 5 or 6 different friends, and they all go to the same class, and they all meet up, and they all go do all these things outside of class. Or same with Zumba or cycling. There's running clubs. I mean, people join all kinds of everything.
Yeah. Like we have an entire group of our guys in the gym who train together. Some are fighters, and some are just come in there, work out. Every single UFC fight night,
they all get together.
They all post like, oh, we're going over to this Buffalo Wild Wings, or we're going over to this brewery. They're showing the fights. I'm going there. I'm getting a table. Let me know if you're coming so we can save you a spot. Yeah. Like, and it's just a big group of people that all, and we used to fill up like 2 or 3 tables.
Yeah.
And we would just have like, everybody would have beers. We'd all hang out. Or like, we have another guy who does a lot of bicycling. He's actually competing this weekend, and he's setting up a morning bike ride for the team to go to like some coffee shops and then go to free roll.
Yeah, Dixie wants to do that.
Yeah, and stuff like that. So you're in a community. You're meeting people, and then for individuals who are like, well, like I how do I get a relationship or whatever? Like. Yeah. Those are great places to get relationships too. You're finding like-minded people, like-minded individuals, and you're not approaching a girl in a bar, or in a club and getting shot down. It's like hey, I get to build a relationship with you as training partners. And then, maybe it goes on from there. We have individuals who are having their baby in August. They met at the gym.
Yeah.
And they like just connected, and they're extremely happy together. And like I said, they're expecting their first baby. But there's so many things where we just need to be, as men especially, we need to be accountable for our own successes in these things. You can't just expect society to change for you. You can't expect doctors to just give you a drug when you're feeling sad, and then you go back to your basement and play your video games and jack off to porn again.
And wonder why nothing is.
And then wonder why nothing is changing, or your
Yeah.
diet doesn't change, or you have no exercise in your life, or you're not getting sunlight, in your life, or
a natural source of vitamin D.
yeah, or you're not, yeah, right, and you're not progressing in your work because you have no ambition to progress in your work. It's like, well, work at a dead end job. I'm like, okay, well, do something about it.
Yeah.
Like, find a different job. It's like, well, there's nobody out there paying right now. What? Like,
I mean, they're not wrong, but
no, that is completely
still-
then change
still not the point. I
industries.
know, it's
Go
not
and
the
get a
point.
degree in something that'll pay you better. Like, there's always
always
a
a way.
solution.
yeah.
But the problem becomes, going back to that, is everybody knows the solution, but nobody wants to make the adjustments to
get
actually
there.
fix it.
Yeah.
And I really want more and more people. I want to help people to be able to make these adjustments, because certain people don't have those authority figures in their life, whether it was a father figure, a brother, or a family member that helped them, or a good friend, or whatever, that can help you do that. And that's where I want to be helping provide that, because we've been through so much. And as they say, like, you can't save souls in an empty church.
Yeah.
And it's like, the more people you can bring in, the more people you can help, the more people whose existences that you can save, put them on a healthier life. Like, that's the whole purpose of why we do these.
Yeah.
Like, that's what these are for. So, I mean, I know we've been a long one on this one, but we're going to
Wrap it up.
probably kind of wrap it up on this one. But like I said, we're going to be providing more lists. I'm going to be providing more resources and information for people going through these herbs and supplements that have helped me, practices for sleep that I've seen a huge improvement in. I do plan on doing a podcast, hopefully soon, on testosterone and hormones, and natural ingredients that you can use, as well as, if I can get him on here, I would really like an individual that's a friend of mine in the community that does makes TRT, and have him explain a lot of this stuff, because I think that would be extremely beneficial for a lot of people. And yeah, just keeping on going with these types of conversations and topics. So yeah, we hope you do you have anything else you want to throw in there?
No, I don't have anything else. Just know that if you are suffering and you are hurting, that there are resources out there to please reach out to any of them.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter which one you want to choose to use. Please reach out. And please also know that our gym is always an open space for you.
We're always open for that.
Yes.
We always try to help people as much as we can for that, especially going through all of this shit that we all go through. But then, it really requires you, again, to be the accountable person, to actually reach out, to actually come in, to actually take that step to change, because you can
just know you're worth it.
Yeah, just know that you can
make
do
that
it.
change. Come in and make that change.
And just be stubborn.
Be like Rick. Be stubborn.
Be stubborn. Like, it's like, if you can't find the light at the end of the tunnel, light that bitch up yourself. Make your own light and light that up. It's like, find a way. Just one little passing remark that it was a quote that my mother shared with me when I was younger. And I've been wanting to get a tattoo on me of just a candle. And it was, when you're surrounded by darkness, sometimes the lighting of a single candle is better than cursing the darkness. And it always stuck with me. It's like, it was something my mom told me. Yeah, when I was young, I was just going through something. I can't even remember what the situation was, but it's just like, you can complain, you can fight, you can feel bad for yourself, or you can light a single candle. But like you want to illuminate the light, you want to turn on the light, you want to find the light at the end of the tunnel. Sometimes a candle is still better than doing nothing.
Yeah.
You know? So leave you guys with that. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. And yeah, we'll see you on the next ones.